Heroic? Yes, you can look unheroic. No need to be the victim or the predator. Just say what you want to say. It's darker. Until you reach somewhere, you reach to the diamond. That essence, that deep topic, if you reach to there, the third sign is you don't have the guts to speak about it in the audience. Okay, Baba touches me, but no way, I'm going on the stage. I look silly talking about that. If that's what you feel, this is... Because ladies, those who dare to talk about John, trust me with this. Best trophy I got in JW 2006 in Dubai, when I finished Baba, the man who was crying, still the eyes after the whole contest, and he comes to me, he said, Mr. Muhammad, I haven't spoken to my dad in Sri Lanka for the past 2 weeks. I'm going to call him now. That's the best reward I got. Just because I shared something, I looked fool in the speech. Those who remember, I really wasn't the hero. I wasn't the victim, I was the predator. Do you dare to go that deep? If you do that, if you talk about that burning issue, 100% you'll burn on the stage. And if you burn on the stage, ladies and gentlemen, no one can ignore an awakening volcano. You will be a volcano on stage. Don't tell me there is no life in my speech. You haven't dug deeper. So, how to reach there? Don't worry, you don't have to dig. I have good news. You don't have to dig. You don't have to dig. Anybody knows this? Dr. Jen from TED Talk. Until today, yesterday I checked, she has hit more than 17 million views. She talks about the stroke of insight. Phenomenal speech, like all TED Talk speeches. Now, what's the secret of her success? Read for yourself. She says, I wasn't winning awards because my science was better than anyone else's. I was winning the awards because I could tell a story that was interesting and fascinating, and it was mine down to the detail. We always are happy with the minor detail because the coach will teach me how to do it better. No need for the coach. No need for the makeup because you'll wake up. Okay? So how to dig deeper? Your diamonds, your topics are there. This is the way you deliver them, the way I deliver Santara. Remember Santara's story now? Again, this is the flow it happened. I started with the topic comes to my mind, message, okay? Events, the dialogue, and then comes what I felt about the events, what I felt about my son, and then there was a turning point. The turning point is a message from me, message for you, different messages, good. As much as people, as many people. So my advice to you is, you don't start at the top, the way we do in contests, sorry. You start at the turning point. That's the way you deliver. You go down directly to these glowing parts of your life. Everybody remembers something painful. When you go to sleep, if you want to remember something painful, it comes directly. You don't need to dig. Something joyful in your life, you have it already, remember it. It shines in your life. Take it immediately. When you take it, then you go up. Then you prepare your speech from down to top. I remember Sajjad's face. I remember what Sajjad did. That was a turning point for me, not his mom, not his uncle. That's a turning point. I take it and I talk about what it did to me. I don't have to rehearse it every time because I see it in the front of my eyes all the time. And ladies and gentlemen, if you have these diamonds bothering you all the time, it will bother you on the stage for the coming 20 years. Because it's bothering, it's real, it's authentic. So my first Santara secret to you is, don't look for topics. Look for turning points in your life. Turning points in your life. Let's go through the 3 stories. Remember Santara's story? What was the turning point? He's feeling, that was not the whole story. The whole story is boring. But when he opened the Santara, remember the Tikka story? What was the turning point?
No life.
When he told me, dead. The whole story is boring. But when he told me, your speech is dead. What was the turning point in my life as a kid? Yeah, you have to give water down. Now, remember, the third one is interesting. It wasn't a turning point for me that time. I was a kid. Now I'm remembering and recalling. So you have many turning points in your life. Every decade you have at least 2 turning points. If everybody speaks about the turning point, we will have authentic speakers full of life, speakers who are honest, and honesty brings life to the audience and change. Dale Carnegie, speakers who talk about what life has taught them never fail to keep the attention of their listeners. What life has taught them. So that's the other thing I want you to be. I want you to be a selfish speaker. Ignore the audience. Okay, everybody says it. Everybody reads this. Know your audience. Okay, make a scan, take the investigation, and then, leave the audience out. Be selfish. Choose what is affecting you, not the audience. Because where does fear of public speaking come from? It comes because you want to fulfill and satisfy all the categories in the room. And it brings with it failure of meeting the expectations. And you have fear. But if you talk about what bothers you, you are a human being, they are a human being, within the context of the event, just talk about what touches you, and it will definitely touch them. That's the depth of humanity, just bring it out. That's what TED speakers do, by the way. Every talk is different. Every title of a talk is different. No wonder sometimes you sit in a contest and you say, I've heard this speech sometime before, right? So you will always be free. You want to replace fear of public speaking? Replace it with freedom. I'm free to say what I want. I know it's a bit shocking, but I'm free to say it also. The other thing you will get, you will stand out. By the way, when you say something so detailed, so deep, dark in your life, it cannot be duplicated. And things that are odd, they are always winners because they can be seen as winning speeches, by the way, if they are very delicately different. And most importantly, the delivery will be natural, not artificial. When you choose a topic deep that bothers you, okay? You just speak the way it comes. And we know Billy Harplin from her book, Leadership Present, says emotions drive expressiveness, and it's not the other way around. It's a study, an experiment she did for leaders. Emotions, they drive the outside expressiveness. Don't expect that outside make-up that you do on the speech will make the speech beautiful. It's artificial emotion. And finally, you will always be on fire. If you forgot anything, don't forget this quote by Howard Thurman, a human rights activist. Don't ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive and go do it. Just like our speaker before me. Ask what the world, what makes you come alive and go do it, because what the world needs is more people who have come alive. We don't need more speakers. The world is mushrooming with the speakers, and the world isn't getting any better. Just come to life, say what you want, authentically, and watch how the change happens. But, turning point. Anyway, but yeah, next speech. But there is a question. In my tikka speech, it was fully authentic, deeply from my heart. Why was it dead? Because there's another thing. It's the A intact. And that's the audience. Okay? The audience, and this is the smaller part of the presentation, all right? That was the bulk, the topic. If you take care of the topic, the speech will take care of itself. But also don't forget the audience, the soil. If there's anything I learned only in the contest, the biggest gift is audience. And we commit 3 sins with the audience. The 3 sins with the audience are as follows: perception, intention, and relation. All right? And it's not about know the audience, take care of them, etc. All right? Number 1 is perception. The question to you as a speaker is, why were you picked to speak here? Any speaking that you do, why were you chosen to speak here? Huh? What your mind tells you? I'm smarter. I have more knowledge than them. Agree? Huh? Or maybe I'm a champion. Or I'm a winner, etc. Many things you will tell yourself. Wrong. You're simply, there's one reason you are there. One reason. You are lucky. You are lucky. In every audience, there are people smarter than you, better than you, wiser than you. They didn't want to come here to speak. Or they didn't have the chance to be picked to speak, but you were there. They want to be in your shoes. So you better speak for them, not for you. You are representing them. So you never look down on your audience. Anywhere you go. Even when you train people to give them skills, they are better than you in many aspects. So you have to remove this I am better, they are less. They are not here for you. They have not come for Muhammad Shukri. I have come here for this audience. This is the right perception. This is the attitude my coaches taught me when I went to Washington, D.C. And there was one man before going on the stage, American, I remember, he said, you know, Muhammad, congratulations, you are with the top 10, best of luck. You know how many of us wish to be here? That touched me. So speak for them. The other thing is intention. This is a very superficial way. There is an elaborate program to go on this, but I'm just giving you superficial, just to think. Are you there to impress or to influence? Very difficult, very difficult. I want to speak in a way that they rehire me again, right? Right? I want to be called again. So if those people who think about impressing will bring the tools that will make my audience love me. They should love me. Give Santara. Huh? Love me. But those who will make life happen in the speech are those who come with the intention of influencing. Try this. Try this. I know you want the check after the course. I know that. But please forget everything. Put your luggage outside the room before you meet the trainees or the audience and just speak for them and make a change. And watch how life happens in your speech. The third sin we do is called relation. What's your relation? Let me tell you, with your audience, what's your relation? At best, speaker, audience. At best. They are my clients. At best. But parents, how many parents are here? Okay. Did you do bedtime stories? Do you do? Have you watched yourself when you speak an international inspiring speech to your, or a story to your kids? Did you watch your delivery? Did you watch your heart, your words? Amazing. The most honest speech is the bedtime story speech. It all comes naturally because you don't have anything expecting from them. They love you regardless. You love them regardless. That's the family relation. How many times have you spoken to your audience as one family? For God's sake, these are not from planet Mars. These are human beings, and all human beings are family, one family. Isn't Toastmasters a one family? Is it? Huh? Yes. But what divides us? Divisions, districts, areas? Huh? Let me say something honest today. Huh? Toastmasters didn't create divisions to divide us, but to gather us, but to make leaders out of us, not followers of race. We are not here to say, oh, he's let's encourage him. No, he's Hindi. Let's encourage the Hindi. But wait, he's not from Karnataka. Let me say it honestly. And I love this. We succeed together and we support each other regardless. And because I'm a minority in Toastmasters, just to tease you, locals, all locals, some of the locals, sometimes they say this. It's embarrassing, but it's deep in my heart. It's the turning point, and I will say it. Some of them might think or say, we are outnumbered. Those laughs are attesting to what I say. Very wrong. Let me tell you one thing. These people are away from their families, from their lives in India and Philippines. They have more time than you here. They have dedicated their time because you are so busy in Bahrain and Oman and Qatar as a local. So they have done all this for you so that you can succeed together and succeed as a Toastmaster, as a speaker. They are working here for you. If it wasn't for them, God knows what was Toastmasters like in the Gulf. I was on my way to Washington. Next door, Saudi Arabia was cheering for me. Can you find this outside Toastmasters? No way. Let's keep the spirit, let's work together. So, the one thing that they taught me with the audience, I'm gonna rush, is that beautiful quote from the Bible. Still, I live by it. Speak for those who can't speak for themselves. That's your Santara today with the audience. Speak for those who can't speak for themselves. Okay, finally, the P, quickly. P is for practice. And you know, practice makes, that's not what I mean here. That's not what I mean. The water which goes beneath the tree of life is practice what you preach. Practice what you, the most powerful life-inducing tool here. Let me tell you a story and finish it up. You know, back times in Islam times, the slavery was very strong. And Islam came and forbid the slavery, but it couldn't cancel the slavery. So it gave awards and rewards and encouraged people. You would get a lot of things if you free a slave. Those people who don't like, are unwilling to free their slaves, the rich men got rewards from Allah to buy that slave from that master and free him. You know that? Okay, and Ramadan is coming, you will learn more about that. So Islam encouraged this. 1 century, 2 century. In one of the centuries, there was this Friday prayer. You know Friday prayer, Jum'ah prayer. And you hear what outside? Sermons. You hear sermons by the preacher. And that preacher was really good. The master and his slave used to go to that Jum'ah prayer and they listened to the preacher. And the slave was listening to the preacher and he went to him after that. He said, "You are so good as a speaker. Are you a Toastmaster?" No, that's not what he said. He said, "Please, my master loves listening to you. Please talk about freeing slaves. I'm fed up. I want him to free me. In your next sermon," he said, "Okay, my son." He didn't say okay anyway. Okay didn't exist. So he said, "I'll do that." Next week, the slave and the master come, and the slave's heart was full of hope, and the preacher talked not about that. Didn't talk about that. He was disappointed. Next week, the week after, the preacher, Jum'ah preacher, is not talking about freeing slaves. And after 2-3 months, he spoke that awaited speech. Sermon. He talked about freeing slaves. Immediately the master got motivated, inspired, and he set his slave free there and then. The slave rushed quickly to thank the preacher and told him, thank you so much, but why did it take you so long? He said, my son, taking so long freed you. Because when you talk to me, I wanted to talk about that, but I didn't have the money. I wanted the money to actually go and find a slave, buy him and free him myself. Then my sermon will have that impact. I recently got that. Ladies and gentlemen, how many times your speeches have set other people free?